All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is your brother Rayat Rakar from the Cleveland branch here at GMS. Coming back at you with another lesson through the power and spirit of the Most High and His Son, who this present evil world ignorantly calls God Jesus Christ. But in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, we would know the Father as Yahweh, which means He is or He exists. And we would know the Son as Yahweh Shah, which means He saved or He delivered. He come to deliver and save the elect of the nation of Israel. Now, the nation of Israel consists of you so called Negroes, Latinos, Native and Seminole Indians on your father's side, because according to the book of Numbers, chapter 1, verse 18, you are who you are and what you are through the seed, because the man carries the seed. But before I get to this lesson, I have to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakal Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect, the occupants out here scattered abroad, lifting up the name Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, and risking their life and their freedom also in these times. And to the few sisters that listen and learn, to y'all, I say shalom. Now, the title of this video is When I Was a Slave, because I got a book. I ain't brought this book out in a while, and I just thought it'd be edifying to bring out a couple of testimonies of old slaves, because it's a book and it's filled up with stories of old slaves. So let me get into it. The title of the book is When I Was a Slave. It's a Memories from Slave Narrative Collection, edited by Norman R. Yetman. Now, I'm going to skip that one. It's good, but it don't really go into much. So, this one is from a slave, Mary Armstrong. Interview at Houston, Texas. Interviewer not identified. Age when interviewed 91. So this is a 91-year-old so-called black woman. It says, you all has to choose me if I don't talk so good. Cause I's been feeling poorly for a spell and I ain't so young no more. Law me when I think back what I used to do. And now it is all I can do is hobble around a little. While Miss Olivia, my mistress, used to put glass blunts full of water on my head and then have me waltz around the room as I could dance so smooth to make sure I don't drop, spill a drop. So the old white lady had the black lady put a glass full of water on her head and made her dance around and told her she bet not spill a drop. That was in St. Louis, where I was born. You see, my mama belonged to old William Cleveland and old Polly Cleveland, and they was the meanest two white folks that ever lived, because they was always beating on their slaves. I know because mama told me, and I hear about it in other places. And besides, old Polly, she was a Polly devil, if there was ever one. She whooped my little sister that was only 9 months old and just a baby to death. So even back in the day, our people know these people was devils, man. She called her an old Polly devil, man. She say she whooped her 9 month old sister to death. And say she came and took the diaper off my little sister and whooped till blood just ran. Just cause she cried like all babies do. So she beat the shit out this little baby just cause she cried and killed my sister. So she killed her just for crying, man. A baby, man. That ain't a devil. I don't know what is. I never forgot that. But I got some even with old Polly Devil, and it was this way. So she said she got some get back on this cracker. You see, I was about 10 years old, and I belongs to Miss Olivia. what was that old Polly daughter. And one day, old Polly Devil comes to where Miss Olivia lives after she's married and tries to give me a lick out in the yard. And I picks up a rock about as big as half a fist and hits her in the eye and busted her eyeball and tells her that's for whooping my baby sister to death. You could hear her holler for 5 miles. But Miss Olivia, when I tell her says, well, I guess Mama had learned her lesson at last. But that old Polly was mean like her husband, old Cleveland, till she died. And I hope they burning in torment right now. So that's just one occasion of a slave, man. Said they beat her sister, a 9 month old baby, to death because just because she cried. When she said she got some get back, she say when she was 10 years old, she say I bust that cracker in the eye. So I'm gonna go to the next one. Let me see. No, I don't want that one. Okay, okay. This one I got highlighted. So let me see. Okay, yeah. This is Julia Brown, interview at Atlanta, Georgia, interviewed by Geneva Tonsil, age when interviewed 85. It say, we wasn't allowed to go around and have pleasures as the white folks does today. We had to have passes to go wherever we wanted, the old slave passes, just Google slave passes. When we get out there, a bunch of white men called the patty rollers, what they call the police today, man, patty rollers, man. What they pull up in, a patty roller, man. It's the same thing, man. Ain't nothing new under the sun. They come and see if we all had passes. And if they found any who didn't have a pass, he was whooped, give 50 or more lashes, and they count them lashes. So they count them lash for lash, one lash, two lash, three lash. They was beating the shit out of our people with whoops and man, come on, man. And you can't tell me this ain't a bunch of devils and the Most High ain't gonna get back at these people for this, man. If they said 100 lashes, you got 100. They was something like the Ku Klux Klan, because it was the Ku Klux Klan. We was afraid to tell our masters about the patty rollers because we was scared they'd whoop us again. For we was told not to tell. They sing little ditty, and it went something like this: Run, nigga, run. The patty rollers get you. Run, nigga, run. You better get away. So they would sing little songs while they chasing the slaves, man. So the next one, let's say, we was afraid to go any place. Slaves was treated in the most cases like cattle. And that's what they call, that's what the Jewish people call us today, man. Goyim, man. This cattle, man. A man went about the country buying up slaves like buying up cattle. And the light, and he was called a speculator. Then he sells them to the highest bidder. Oh, it was pitiful to see children taken from their mother's breasts, mothers sold, husbands sold from wives. One woman he was to buy had a baby. And of course, the baby came out before he bought her, and he didn't want to buy the baby. Said he hadn't bargained to buy the baby too, and he just wouldn't. So this pregnant lady was with child, and right and before he bought her, the baby came out. So he left the baby because he didn't want her. So them is children being separated from parents, and parents being separated from children. So I got a quick scripture. Well, I got two quick scriptures for this. The first one I'm gonna get is Joel. Give me a quick minute. One quick minute. Let me see, Joel. There's a new Bible on my page is sticking. So Salakia. This Joel chapter 3 and verse 3. And they had cast lots for my people, and have given the boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. They say they have cast lots for my people, man. That's like auctioning block. One nigga sold, give me 50 cents, give me $3. That's exactly what they was doing, man. Selling our people like cattle, man. Treat them like animals. Separating families, man, from children. Sending the husband to this plantation, the wife to this plantation, and the children to this plantation. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse let me see what I want. Deuteronomy 28 and 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. What? Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in their hands. That's exactly what we just read, man. Ain't nothing them people could have did. They was in slavery. They was in shackles. They was in chains. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 41. Thou shalt begot sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Our people been in captivity for hundreds of years under these devils, man. But now our captivity, our slavery coming to an end, and that's why you see what's going on in the world, man. The Most High shaking this place up, man. It's only right to come back to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, and your heritage. This is another one. This is the Leah Garlic interview in Montgomery, Alabama. Interviewed by Margaret Fowler. Age when interview 100. So this is a 100-year-old lady, man. It say slavery days was hell. I was growed up when there were come, and I was a mother before it closed. Babies were snatched from their mother's breast and sold to speculators. Children were separated from sisters and brothers and never saw each other again. Of course, they cry. You think they not cry when they sold like cattle? I could tell you about it all, but they. Hold on, let me see. I could tell you about it all, but even then, you couldn't guess the awfulness of it because you would have to be there, man. A person could tell you about slavery all day, but unless you actually going through it and living through it, you don't know that pain. A person could tell you about being locked up in a cell for 23 hours a day, but unless that's you going through it, man, you don't know. You don't know. You feel me? You can only imagine and guess how awful slavery was. Feeling helpless, feeling like you just at the beck and call of another person, man. Just scared all the time, man, and fear of your life with the devil over you, man. It's bad to belong to folks that own your soul and body, that can tie you up to a tree with your face to tree and your arms fastened tight around it, who take a long curling whip and cut the blood every lick. Let me read that again. It say it's bad to belong to folks that own you soul and body, that can tie you up to a tree with your face to the tree and your arms fastened tight around it, who take a long curling whip and cut the blood every lick. So every time, man, your hands will be tied around a tree, you can't move. And every time they hit you with this whip, they make blood come out, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Folks a mile away could hit them off of whoopings. That was a terrible part of living. I was born at Powhatan, Virginia, and was the youngest of 13 children. I never seen none of my brothers and sisters except Brother William. And my mother and me was brought in the spectators, drove to Richmond and put in a warehouse with the drove of other niggas. Then we was all put on the block and sold to the highest bidder. I've never seen Brother William again. That's what we just read in Joel, man. Sold to the highest bidder, man. Cast lots for my people, man. These damn devils, man, treat us like shit, man. And our people love these people to this day, man. How you think these people got what they got today, man? It goes back to this, man. And our people don't see nothing wrong with it, man. Man, I'll be damned. I'll be damned. It say, Mammy and me was sold to a man by the name of Carter, who was the sheriff of the county. So this is the sheriff of the county, man. The slave owner, man. There was not no good times at his house. There was no good times at his house. He was a widower, and his daughter kept house for him. I nursed for her, and one day I was playing with the baby. It hurts its hand, and I was commenced to cry. And she whirled on me, picked up hot iron, and ran it down my arm and hand and took off the flesh when she done it. So she said she was playing with the baby and accidentally hurt her or something. She said this old devil grabbed a hot iron and rubbed it down her hand and arm, man. Burnt her up, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. This is another one. No, I'm gonna skip that one. I'm gonna jump to 87. Okay, this is. Oh no. It's all the same thing. This is one Tynes Hendricks interview at Trenton, Arkansas, interviewed by Watt McKinley, age when interviewed 104. Now, this is down some, and I'm just get straight to the point because it ain't that much. It say, when my race first got their freedom and began to leave their masters, a heap of the masters got raising mad, just tore up truck. They say they going to kill every nigger they find. Some of them did do that very thing. Boss, surely enough, I'm telling you the truth, they shot niggers down by the hundreds. They they was just going, they wasn't going to let them enjoy their freedom. That is the truth, boss. But guess what? Guess what, man? The most I ain't forgot. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, and verse 9 and 10. And it reads, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So all them devils that did all this nonsense to our people, guess what? It's a such thing as regeneration, reincarnation. You know, spirit come back on earth, man, and you will be judged. So you're going into captivity. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So ain't no getting away, man. Ain't no escaping judgment, man. None at all. There's no way possible, man. And there's one I was reading. Hope I can find it real quick. Let me see. If I can, it's cool. I ain't been in this book in a while. This is Ben Simpson, interview at Madisonville, Texas. Interviewer not identified. Age when interviewed 90. It say, Master has a great long whip planted out of rawhide. And when one of the niggers fall behind or give out, he hit him with the whip. So if you ain't doing enough work or if you fall out from just being tired, they beat your ass. It take the hide every time he hit a nigger. Mother, she gave out on the way about the line of Texas. Her feet got raw and bleeding, and her legs swole blunt out of shape. So it was doing so much work and so much walking, she just couldn't take it no more. Then Master just take out the gun and shot her. I think this the one. It say Master just take out the gun and just shot her because if you ain't useful, I mean you might as well be dead. That's how they thought of our people, and that's how they treated our people, man. Like it was nothing, man. It says take out the gun and just shot her. And while she lay dying, he kicks her 2, 3 times and say, damn a nigger, what can't stand nothing? Boss, you know that man, he wouldn't bury mother. Just leave her lying where he shot her at. You know then there wasn't no law against killing nigger slaves. Yeah, it wasn't no law about killing nigger slaves because that was your property, man. You do what you want with them, man. These people treated us like shit. So what you think? What's gonna happen? How we gonna treat them when we get them into captivity, man? The scriptures say, "Do them double." We gonna treat these people 2 times worse. But in righteousness, though, we ain't gonna do none of that butt breaking and all that crazy shit that they was doing to us, man. It says, it says, he come plunk to Austin through the snow. He taking up farming and changing he name to Alex Simpson and changes our names too. He cut logs and builded he home on the side of the mountains. We never had no quarters. When nighttime come, he locks the chain around our necks and then locks it around a tree. So they had to sleep outside, man. Damn. Boss, our bed were the ground. All he fed us was raw meat and green corn. Boss, I ate many a green weed. I was hungry. He never let us eat at noon. He worked us all day without stopping. We went naked we went naked that the way he worked us, we never had any clothes. So this devil killed this man, this damn devil. He brands us. He brand my mother before us left Georgia. Boss, that nearly killed her. He brand her in the breast, then between the shoulders, he brand us off. Because that was a show of whose slave he was, man. He was property, man. He was nothing to these people, man. But property, man. Let me see, man. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I'm getting close to the end. Close to the end. Let me see. I don't know if this it or not, but I'm gonna read it anyway because it's highlighted. This is Mingo White interview at Burleson, Alabama, interviewed by Levi D. Shelby Jr. Age when interviewed 85 to 90. I was born in Chester, South Carolina, but I was mostly raised in Alabama. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I was loaded in a wagon with a lot more people in it. Where I was bound, I don't know. I was told there was a lot of slave speculators in Chester to buy some slaves for some folks in Alabama. I remember that I was took up on a stand and a lot of people come around and I felt my arms and legs, chest, asked me a lot of questions before we slaves was took to the trading post. So they was filling on them to make sure they was strong and sturdy and checking to make sure they had all their fingers and limbs because they had to work in cotton fields and sugar fields and you feel me, cane fields and just man, they worked you to death, man. So they had to check it and make sure you was right. It says there it goes. Questions before we were sold and took to the trading post. Old Marshall Crawford told us to tell everybody what asked us if we ever been sick, that you's never been sick in your whole life. Us had to tell them all sorts of lies for our master, or else we take a beating. So they made these people lie and said they was never sick. Man, this damn devil, man. Let me see, man. This is the last one, man. Rose Williams, interview in Fort Worth, Texas. Interviewer not identified. Age when interviewed 90. It says when we when when we get to trading block, there was a lot of white folks there that came to look the slaves over. I believe there was about 50 niggers there to sell. The white folks and looking this one and that one over. There and one man that shows interest in Pappy, him named Hawkins. He talked to Pappy, and Pappy talked to him and says, "Them and my woman and child, please bound, I portly and strong as the mule." He then says, "A likely looking nigger, but three and more than Oz wants, Oz guess." So the slave was like, "Man, I will work my ass off. I'm good. I'm strong. Just pleased by my wife and my kids so we won't be separated." And this devil says, uh, "Likely looking nigger, but three and more than I was wants." So he's basically telling them, "No, the sale starts at 20 long till Pappy and put on the block. Master Hawkins wins the bid for Pappy. And when Mommy and put on the block, he also wins the bid for her. Then there am two children or three other niggers sold before my time comes. Then Master Black calls wins to the block. The auction man says, how much am I offered for this portly, strong young wench? She never been abused and will make a good breeder. So a good breeder, Know what that is, man? That was popping our people, man. And that was, oh man. I was once to hear Master Hawkins bid, but him says nothing. Two other men in bidding against each other. I sure have the worry, man. There and tears coming down my cheeks because I was being sold to some party that would cause separation from my mama. One of the biders bid 500, and the auction man asking, "Do I hear more?" She am going at 500. Then someone says 525. No one bid higher, and then auction man says she is going for 525. She is going for 525. She am sold for 525 to Mr. Hawkins. And I was glad and excited. I was quivering all over. Oh, so the slave owner, I guess he did buy her, but still, you get the point. We were sold like cattle and treated like shit, man. That's why the scriptures say this, man. I gotta get this. What, what's that? Yeah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. And verse 16. It says, Jeremiah 30 and 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey, man. All these devils that put their foot on the people's backs and necks, that raped and robbed, that spoiled us, they're gonna be spoiled too, man. Simple as that, man. Ain't no getting away for Esau Edom, man. Ain't no love for Esau Edom, man. Ain't no mercy for Esau Edom, man. A bunch of devils. So that was just something quick through the spirit, man. Hope it was edifying. With that, I'm gonna say shalom.